You guys have questions? Well, I have answers. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is John Scott Won't Stop. I'm a second-generation hairstylist that's been doing hair professionally for the better part of 2 decades. And I'm here to share the knowledge I've learned in the industry with you. Over on Instagram the other day, I did a hair Ask Me Anything, and I'm going to be answering the questions more in depth here, just in case you missed them over there, or you wanted me to elaborate just a little bit more. So let's just dive right into it. Is there actually any way to thicken your hair, or are you just stuck with what DNA gave you? Well, okay. So yes and no. When it comes to the reason for your hair being thin, there can be a medical issue there, and you need to discuss that with your doctor. The most your hairstylist can do is refer you to your doctor. It's outside of a hairstylist's scope of competence to diagnose or treat any diagnosis. You do need to seek the professional opinion from a physician, not from a hairstylist. Now, there are products you can use that will give your hair the appearance of being thicker and more voluminous. And those typically would be something in the form of a mousse or a shampoo and conditioner. Now, any product containing hyaluronic acid or glucopeptides is going to be your best bet for plumping up each individual hair strand to give the appearance of fuller hair. But thickening mousses also do great work. Kenra Platinum makes a really good thickening mousse that I absolutely love. Smells delicious, and it's got a slight hold to it, so it's not going to leave your hair feeling crunchy or anything like that. Make sure it feels very, very soft and a lot more full. Kerastase has Densifique. Densifique has hyaluronic acid and glucopeptides, but as far as I'm aware, Kerastase being owned by L'Oreal, there might be animal testing being done there. I'm not sure. So you're going to want to go check that out for yourself if that's something that you have a reservation with. And when it comes to shampoos and conditioners, you need to exercise caution when purchasing a volumizing or thickening shampoo and conditioner. And this is because a lot of those shampoos and conditioners can use methods that kind of lift the cuticle to create the volume, which can rough up the hair. It can dry out the hair, and it can affect the longevity of your color service. So to check to see if a product is good for you or something that you're going to want to use, go to Insidicoder before you make your purchase and decode the ingredients in that product. Turkey for hair restoration. And no, not like turkey like you eat a turkey leg at the fair, or if you celebrate Thanksgiving, not that kind of a turkey. So what this person is asking is, should they travel out of their own country to another country to get hair restoration services in the form of procedures or surgery or what have you? And honestly, that is something that you need to speak to your physician about. However, if you're going to make that decision, or you do decide that you want to go to another country for this, be sure that you research the doctor, the hospital, the sanitation practices, read up reviews, get as much information, do your due diligence before doing anything like that. And if you're only going to save a couple of bucks because the travel plus the procedure is slightly less expensive than going to see somebody within your own local area, I would say just spend the extra money and go to the local area. Me personally, I would just want to make sure I'm getting the best service. I'm not so much worried about the best procedure, not so much worried about the cheapest procedure. I feel like when we're altering our body or we're doing anything medically to our body, we need to make sure we're doing what's right, not what's cheap. But who knows, you might find the best for the best price. So just do your due diligence when it comes to electing for any procedures. Favorite coloring, bleaching, toning professional product. Okay, so before I answer that question, I do want to say, because I have younger stylists and newer stylists that follow my content, we need to stop saying the term bleaching and start saying lightener instead of bleach. So technically, lightening of something can be bleaching it, like the sun bleaches stuff and so on and so forth. But typically when a person hears the term bleach, it will automatically remind them of what you find in the kitchen, which has sodium hypochlorite in it, and hair lightener does not have sodium hypochlorite in it. Also, The sound of bleach sounds damaging, and so it gives the guest a sense of impending damage that we want to avoid them feeling, because it may make them more anxious or more stressed out about getting the service that they're looking to receive. So using terms like lightener, which is the appropriate term for hair bleach, that puts them at ease a little bit more, and it puts more trust from the guest into the stylist's hands. So let's work on changing up the language. But to answer the question, I am a Wella artist through and through as it pertains to hair color and color services. I am not a fan of Wella's styling products. That's just me. You know, I need to look more into their reformulations and their newer products. But as it stands right now, I'm not a huge fan of Wella styling products, but I am a diehard fan of their hair color line. So when I say Colistin Perfect, it's a Colistin, not Coleston. Colistin Perfect, Illumina, Color Touch Plus, Shinefinity, Blondor, Blondor Plex, Soft Blonde by Blondor, Magma, Free Lights. I am a Wella artist through and through. You can be the best colorist in the world, but it's going to take a product to elevate you to the next level. Personally, I think translucent lines, which is what Wella is, are the best because they give the hair just a polish that cannot be achieved with opaque hair color. Sorry, that's my personal opinion. If you disagree with me, that's cool. I understand. Everybody has their own preference, but personally, I really enjoy a translucent line. Wella is always going to be the win for me. And I do want to make it clear, Wella Color Charm that you find at Sally's or those type of retailers is not the same thing as Wella Color Touch or Color Touch Plus. Color Charm is not like a great reflection of the Wella line. And I feel like people's knowledge of Color Charm make them believe that Wella is not as premium of a color line as it is. I want to say Wella is one of the best on the market. I've worked with L'Oreal's color line Madrigal. I've worked with Matrix. I've worked with Schwarzkopf. I've worked with Redken. I've worked with TG. I've worked with Paul Mitchell. I've worked with Kin Cream, Kuhn, Kenra, all of it. And I've always run back to Wella every single time. Wella is chef's kiss. And Wella, I know you don't do this, but if you want me to be the first ever that you sponsor, hi, how are you? I'm John Scott Won't Stop. I got a mouth on me, so just be prepared for that. All right, moving on. Why do we need to cut or trim our hair every 6 to 8 weeks? So you don't have to cut and trim your hair every 6 to 8 weeks. That's just a general rule based on the average services that come through a salon. If you're trying to maintain a specific haircut, you may come in every 3 to 5 weeks. If you're trying to grow your hair, though, you need to do what I call the sacrifice cut and get all the splits and breaks cut off. Too many times do I have people come into the salon that need 3 inches off their hair and they're like, just cut off a ½ inch. And all they're essentially saying is make my hair shorter, but in the same condition, and I'm going to pay you money, because they're trying to keep their length. So if you're trying to keep your length, why are you in here for a haircut if your hair is just going to be in the same condition, but a little bit shorter? Cut all the damage off and then get regular trims to remove splits. And what you're going to do is cut the splits off as they come in. And that's going to save you quite a bit of money or time. And you're going to see a lot more growth because your hair splits and breaks at a slightly slower rate than it grows. How many times, stylists out there, how many times, or blondes out there, how many times have you been in the experience where the blonde is saying to the stylist, oh, I don't want to cut, I'm trying to let my hair grow. It's just my hair never grows. But they're sitting there with 1-inch roots. Where'd your roots come from if your hair doesn't grow? You need to trim off your split ends. So my general rule of thumb is if somebody is an all over blonde in tone, which requires lightener all over the hair, I will have them come in every, I would say 6 to 8 weeks, but more closer if they follow my instructions on how to maintain the care of their hair, every 8 to 9 weeks. If you are highlights all over, you can probably do it like 8 to 10 weeks. If you just like color your hair, no highlights, no lightener, then 10 to 12 weeks. And if your hair is virgin and you take care of it, it can be anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks to get your hair done. I personally need a cut right now. I cut my own hair. I will not be doing that on the internet for you guys to follow along and try to cut your hair to be like mine at home. not because I want to be unique in my own hairstyle, because I do give this haircut to other people, but because I don't want people attempting it at home and ruining their hair, because a good stylist discourages that kind of behavior, not encourages it for views and for possible reaction videos. I saw what I said. Okay. Is there a way to make hair grow faster? Just curious. This seems to come up a lot. So as a hairstylist, we cannot tell you something is going to make your hair grow faster. Only a doctor can say that. And make sure that doctor specializes in hair or works with the hair and skin in some way. Even a dermatologist that knows about hair and skin, they focus primarily on skin and they don't really work that much with hair, might not have all the information at their disposal, which is okay. It's ridiculous to think that one person could possess all the knowledge in the world. I don't possess all the knowledge in my industry. There are things that over time I'm going to have to look up, but I understand what I'm reading and I have the knowledge, experience, and background to interpret the information that I'm reading to help you guys understand something. But you can't make your hair grow faster, but you can see the growth quicker. Regular trims, washing your hair in cold water, washing your hair less often. When you wash your hair too much, you strip the oils out of your hair and your hair dries out. When your hair gets dry, it becomes brittle, which makes it easier for it to split and break, which again splits and breaks at a slightly slower rate than it grows. You just be speeding up that process. Moisture will help prevent the hair from drying out, splitting, and breaking. Reducing the heat that you use, using a layer of heat protection. All of these things are important. But the best thing you can do to promote healthy hair growth is healthy diet and exercise, because the healthier you are, the healthier your hair is. Also, best product to put in your hair, patience, and I stand by that. All right, moving on. There's some more that have like similar questions. What are the best way to improve your hair health? So again, cold water washes, don't wash as often. Moisture is really important. Reduce the heat that you're using, use a layer of heat protection, healthy diet, exercise, patience. Switch to a silk or satin pillowcase or bonnet to protect your hair from roughing up the cuticle. Avoid messy buns. Use split end menders to prevent split ends, not to mend split ends. Regular trims to cut off the splits before the split and break. And I did mention before, when you go 8 weeks, you're going to grow about an inch of hair. Every person grows on average about ½ inch a month. So if you have a ½ inch cut off every 6 to 8 weeks, it's like going up 2 steps, down 1 step, up 2 steps, down 1 step. That's where patience comes into play. If you take care of your hair really well and you don't do a lot of chemical services to it, then you can stretch that out and you can grow 3 inches before taking off a ½ inch or so. Well, not 3 inches, but like 1.5 inches before you take off 1/4 to a ½ inch on a trim. Stop pushing your hair to its limits to achieve a specific hair color and then expect that your hair is going to be healthy afterwards. The more you push your hair to its limits, the more you challenge the integrity of your hair, the less likely your hair is to be healthy. It's a trade-off. You either want the look or you want the feel. The feel does come with a pretty good look, though. I will say that. All right. What is something you wish clients knew? When you no-show us, you cost us money, because we could have booked somebody in that spot that would have shown up on time, that would have gotten their hair done. And for us to try to put somebody in that spot when you no-show us last second, we are only probably able to, if we can fill that spot, make 1/3 of what we would have made. So you did cost us money. So if we are going to charge you a no-show fee or a cancellation fee, that is why, because you did take money out of our pockets. Also, you don't know more than the hairstylist. I don't care that you went to beauty school. I don't care that your mom was a hairstylist. You do not know more than an active practicing hairstylist if you are not an active practicing hairstylist. Sorry, but that's just the way it is. We're not trying to sell you product to make money. We're trying to ensure our work. When we send you home with products, it's because we need to know what you're using at home. Because when you go home after getting a color service and you come back and you're like, my hair is ruined. What are you using at home? You didn't purchase the products I told you to purchase. You're using, oh, that'll strip your hair. I told you not to use that. That is why we're sending things home. We're trying to keep your hair in the best condition possible. We're trying to help prolong your chemical services. We're trying to prolong all your services. This is why we're sending you home with products. It's not just so we can make $1 or $2 off of it. We don't actually make that much money off of retail if people are making any money at all. I think the industry average for how much of your income is retail is 13 to 15% of your income would be retail. So consider that. Also, stop trying to negotiate with your stylist. Stop asking for discounts, because hair color is a luxury. It's not a necessity. And I understand before you guys try to get up in arms about this, that society puts unrealistic expectations and unfair expectations on women. But you do not have to color your hair. And I am seeing more and more women embrace their natural color and their natural gray every day. And I fully support that. And I champion that. Even though I do make most of my income off of color services, I am happy to help somebody transition back to natural. My hair is all natural. I don't color my hair. So I do really champion that. But hair color is a luxury, and you don't have to come to a salon to get it done. You don't have to have the balayage. You know, like when people say, oh, but like that's the unrealistic expectations that society has on to not have grays. They're not pushing that you have to get a balayage, that you have to get baby lights, that you have to get these premium services that you absolutely don't need. They're saying cover your roots. That's it, which I think you should give them the flip them the bird. You know, light a match, burn it to the ground on your way out. You don't owe anybody a luxury service, and we don't owe you a discount. We don't come to your work and ask you to make less money than you do. Please don't come to our work and ask us to make less money, because to be honest, there is somebody that's willing to pay twice as much as you are that will sit in our chair later. Like, we don't have to take you as a client. Okay, moving on. Olaplex or K18? K18. I feel like Olaplex's styling or their aftercare line, it's just the same product rebranded and reformulated into another consistency, to be honest. I get the same thing from a lot of hairstylists that have used it. Also, what I don't like about Olaplex is that it encourages, not intentionally maybe, but it encourages young and new artists to push hair to its limits. And they quickly learn that it's not bulletproof, usually at the expense of the guest. And that's devastating to young new stylist confidence. That's devastating to the guests themselves. They are now going to have to try to grow their hair back out. It can be a nightmare. So I prefer K18. K18, you take home the same treatment that's done on you at the salon. It's great. In fact, I believe the people who initially created Olaplex then went on to create K18 after selling Olaplex off. Personally, when it comes to Olaplex or things like that, the only thing I would use that for is to fix the mistake of somebody else's work, or and at home, I followed a specific YouTuber's tutorial and information to try to do my own hair. And now I'm probably going to end up in one of their reaction videos. That's what I would use it. But my hair color line, Wella, has its own bond builder called Wellaplex. No, they did not steal the plex from Olaplex. All plex means is complex. And I prefer that over Olaplex's anyway. So I would say K18 over Olaplex. I think we have one or two more. What are your styling cheats and or time-saving hacks to achieve sexy hair in less than 30 minutes? So hats, fashionable hats will be your best friend on a dirty hair day. Just style your hair the way you normally would. Don't worry about the way your roots look. Maybe throw some dry shampoo in there and pop a hat on. That is not why I'm wearing a hat today. I just didn't feel like styling it today. Also, make sure you style your hair initially for the week on your day off, like plan for it. And if you have, like, if you do it twice in a week, then plan to style your hair again, like set up the time for that. I usually start with my hair blown out straight. And then like a day or two later, I might take a big barrel curling iron to it so I can wear like textured wave throughout that day. And then it will drop into the night because I do a really big barrel curl. And I don't use hairspray. So when it drops, it looks like a really nice blowout. And then I'll throw some dry shampoo in my hair, twist it up a specific way at night, clip it, wake up in the morning, let it down, hit it with some texture spray, and pop a hat on. So pre-styling your hair and just knowing how you can restyle it is going to be your best bet. Okay, and so the last question. It's been years since I purchased a curling iron. Budget recommendations. So, no offense to Hot Tools, they may take this as offensive, but I would never recommend their blow dryer or their flat iron to anyone. However, I will say this: their gold curling irons, chef's kiss, top notch, top notch. Um, you need to make sure that you have a temperature gauge on your irons. Like if you want healthy hair, having a flat iron that has on off is not going to give you that. Having a curling iron that has on off is not going to give you that. Like a 1 to 25 um, gauge on there, read the manufacturer instructions. They'll usually give you an idea of how hot it gets, and then you can gauge it from there. But I would, if you're on a budget and you want a good curling iron, go get a Hot Tools. Hot Tools Gold, or they have like the purple ceramic. Hot Tools makes, in my opinion, some of the best curling irons on the market, and they're inexpensive and they're great. They make Marcel and they make Spring Action. So I would say go get yourself Hot Tools. I wouldn't go to them for blow dryers and flat irons unless you're really, really on a budget. But other than that, that's my advice. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Uh, if you would like to follow me on my other socials, you can find that down in the description. Also, to any companies out there that may want me to try their product or do a review on their product, you can find my contact information and my PO box down in the description as well. If you are going to send me your product and it doesn't include an ingredient list, I'm going to need that ingredient list because that's part of my process. I want to see what you have in it. And to anyone that has another question, go follow me on my other social media accounts. You can find them down below. And I will be doing hair AMAs here and there over on my stories on Instagram. And then if you guys have other questions, you can ask down below in the comments as well. So be sure to click subscribe and hit that bell, set your notifications so you don't miss any videos. And until next time, stay beautiful.